We all know the famed debate, iPhone or Android, and we all have a preference. But today, I'm going to break down the complex systems and performances of each smartphone to show you which really is the better phone. Before that happens though, I need you to subscribe to this channel and like this video so that I know that you like these types of videos so that I can make more of these in the future. Let's start off with the Android. The first Android phone was the HTC Dream, released to the public in September 2008 by the company High Tech Computer Corporation, a Taiwanese electronics company. It was a small phone, being only 3.2 inches in size, and it featured the 1.0 Android operating system, the first of its kind. Over the next almost 2 decades, the Android operating system would see many upgrades that were named after popular foods, such as Android ice cream sandwich, Android jelly bean, Android marshmallow, and Android eclair. But the most currently advanced model, as of the date of this video, is the Android 16, or the Android baklava. The operating system features many similar things to the iPhone, such as health records from wearable devices, personalized content for users, many apps, an updated Play Store, and many other basic features you find in all smartphones. For the phone itself, the currently most popular Android phones are the Samsung Galaxy S25 and the Google Pixel 9, each with several versions such as an Ultra or Plus version. The Samsung Galaxy S25 base version offers a 6.2-inch screen size, a 2340 by 1080 resolution, and a 14 hours of battery life, and the same waterproof and dust resistance rating as the iPhone 16 and Google Pixel 9. A pretty good one. The phone has 3 rear cameras, with the upgraded version having an additional one. It has a USB-C charging port, much like the iPhone, and a fingerprint sensor. And it also offers a Face ID unlock for sensitive information, but it's less secure than the iPhone one. Its max brightness is 2600 nits. It comes with 128 gigabytes of storage as the base version, but it can be upgraded much like the iPhone. And it sits at a cost of $799.99, or about 681 euros. On the other hand of the Android phones, we see the Google Pixel 9. It's slightly larger than the Android counterpart S25, sitting at about 6.3 inches. Not a much large difference, but one that we can note. It has an interesting selection of colors, and it basically has the same specs as the S25, except for some few differences. For one, instead of the 14-hour battery life of the S25, the Pixel 9 has up to 24 hours of battery life, a very large and great improvement. Both devices have a capability that is only limited to Android devices though, and it's called battery sharing. What you can do essentially is you can use your phone to charge someone else's. All in all, the Android phones are great phones that have a deep history and a very great performance, being some of the best phones out there. But now, let's talk about the iPhone. The iPhone is a phone with a deep history, much like the Android, stemming from the iPhone released in 2007 by the famous Steve Jobs. The original iPhone was a simple 3.5-inch display, and it had a built-in web browser that would come to be Safari as we know it today. The idea of the iPhone originated when Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak had the wild idea that instead of using a stylus to operate smart devices, as one usually would at the time, they would instead use our fingers. Then, about 7 years later, the iPhone came to fruition and it was unveiled to the public. The phone blew up in the United States, yet it was a different story in Europe. In European countries and pretty much everywhere outside of the United States and Canada, the iPhone sold much less than inside of the two countries. And after 6 million total sales in just a year in the market, it was discontinued. It has come a long way though, going all the way to the iPhone 16 that is the most current model as the making of this video. This phone has many great features, including a dual camera with an ultra-wide lens for better picture taking, and it also has a wide selection of colors, much like the Google Pixel 9 and the Android S25, as we said earlier. It also has an upgraded model coming in the iPhone 16 Plus that's slightly larger and has slightly better specs. And much like its rival, the Android phones, this phone comes with 128 gigabytes of storage that can be upgraded. It's basically extremely alike to the Android, except for some aesthetic differences. But what about the other devices outside of the phones? Well, both systems have an extensive list of devices belonging to them. Both have a very reputable smartwatch belonging to the phone. They have very reputable listening devices, such as the AirPods, and they have pretty good tablets. But one difference is Apple doesn't make TVs. However, Samsung televisions do exist. For compatibility, it's often seen in the industry that Apple devices tend to be less compatible with other devices. It'd be harder to use your AirPods on a Dell computer than use your Samsung device. But it's way easier to use an Apple device with other Apple devices. For example, if you're connecting your AirPods, all you need to do is open the case and hold a button. It can be slightly more complicated for Samsung devices, which is why it's seen as easier with Apple. But whether you think that Apple is the only company that knows what they're doing, or you dread the thought of ever touching an iPhone or buying it, you can't deny that both, despite their differences, are very good phones, and they're very good, well-established systems. Now, if you like this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you clicked on that subscribe button and showed us some support. And be sure to let us know in the comments what you think about Apple or Android. Until next time, stay in the loop, stay safe, and goodbye.